So at this point, these are exploration of other vetted resources. So I'm going to go through just very quickly. I'm going to give you a brief overview of all the things that I've brought today that are on that vetted resources list. Then we'll take a break, and when you come back from break, I'm going to give you some time just to go and explore, okay? All right. So we'll start over here. And if you have any of these in your building, please jump in and give me, any kind of feedback, help our neighbors and friends here. Just because I have them doesn't necessarily mean that I've used them all or that I'm the expert in them, okay? The first one is this one. It's another purchased product. It's called Number Worlds. A lot of buildings use it for tier 3 purposes. In our building, this would be one that we could use for tier 2 purposes. Just because our demographics, our kids are generally a little bit lower coming in as far as being on that tiered list. So if you notice, it's a lot like a regular textbook. It's kind of old school as far as this. So here's lesson 1. It's got all of your strategies. Here's what you're doing. And then here's the student pages at the top with the answers in it. It'll tell you exactly what to do. Here's the first part, here's part 2, here's part 3, reflect, then assess. So you are more than welcome to look through it. It does come with CDs with the assessments on it. If anybody has a CD player in their room anymore, right? It also comes with these consumable magazines. This is where the kids work. So this is pretty nice as far as that goes. It comes with a couple of manipulatives. The basic ones that they use are these, for lack of a better word, chips. I'm just going to call them chips. I was supposed to call it a number generator instead of a die earlier. Anyway, you get the point. So here's Number Worlds. You can look at that one. The Go Math I'm going to take away because I'm going to assume that everyone has that and we don't need to look at that one any further, okay? I also have just the RTI manual. If you are just bored and want to, read it during your lunchtime, feel free to take my copy. It's right here. The next one I have is a free version. Write this one down. This is Eureka Math Book of Sprints. And you can literally Google Eureka Math Book of Sprints, grade 4, whatever. And it will pop up. And these are fantastic. It's got all of the things. So you could do place value. It's got rounding, of course, your basic facts, but it also has measurement. And for the upper grades, it has fractions and decimals. And these are quick little sprints. You do not have to time sprints. Okay? This is a warm-up. Look at the fractions. So it says, make larger units. So all they're wanting them to do is come up with an equivalent fraction that's larger, or writing a larger fraction, however you want to do it. You can give them, it can be a set time if you want it to be, but it doesn't have to be. There's also adding and subtracting of fractions in the back, and as well, it's got decimals. I'm pretty sure it had some order of operations as well. So look at this one. It's a great resource, even if you're not going to use it for your Tier 2 fluency group. This is a great resource just to have in your classroom. The next one is also another freebie. And on this particular PowerPoint that I'm going to attach to the Google Classroom, I linked them for you. So there's the Sprints, and then there's Engage New York. Here's the Georgia Numeracy Project, okay? So here it is, and like you said, I just copied it off and stuck it in a binder. This is a free material, but it goes through, and I'm going to give you some time to look at this one too, but for example, there are 20 children who go to a county school. 3/5 of them travel to school by bus. How many children is that? And so it will go through, it's got wonderful questions as far as, how you can ask kids a question in a different way. That's what we're all looking for, right? Because that's our patent answer. They ask it differently on 10 Ready, right? So we're constantly looking for different ways to ask the questions. This is definitely one of them. So it will take you through, and it says literally, say this. Literally, do this. Okay? But this one's free. It's some great stuff. The next couple I'm going to show you are just books. These are relatively cheap. The Draw and Solve Word Problems by Didax. Write this one down, especially if you're a third grade teacher. I don't know if they have upper grades yet. Right now, the only ones that I could borrow were K through 3. That doesn't mean there's not extra ones out there, but this one is really good. It's got great word problems for them to solve. Again, asking them in a different way, but it also has them do it like this. So it'll give them a word problem, but then it'll give them just an equation and ask them to draw a picture. It'll have them write a word problem for this particular equation. So again, we're reaching all of that Bloom's taxonomy using these. So these are great. The next one is Fundamentals. This is another Orgo product. I have not used these. These are all games for the most part. So they're great resources. I don't know if I would necessarily, use just this for my group the whole time. But it does have some great strategy games that you can use, especially for fluency. We talked about what am I going to do for 30 minutes teaching fluency to this tier group. This would be a great thing if that's what is, working for you in your building, if that's what you have the most of. Say again, I'm sorry? This is Orgo. It's the same thing as the box of facts. And these are relatively cheap as well. This one is called Cams and Stamps. Does anyone have cams and stamps in their buildings? Good. Typically, I would say this is more a tier 2 piece. Sometimes tier 3 providers do it. So you just want to make sure that whatever you're using, the kids in your group, if they were to move on to tier 3, you need to make sure that that tier 3 provider does not use your same intervention. Now, more than likely, that's not going to happen. And more than likely, if you're going to that RTI team and you're discussing if you want to change that intervention, you're going to have record of it somewhere. But we don't want to double dip. If a kid is struggling in tier 2 and you're using a program and they move on to tier 3, you don't want to use that same program again because obviously we know it doesn't work for this student. We need to come up with a different one, okay? Moving on over here. I brought this one. It is called Do the Math. It is a very expensive program, and the only reason our building was able to purchase it was through our Title I funds. I know that several schools do have Title I funds. There's also PTOs and that kind of thing. So don't look at it and just totally discount it. You can buy certain kits of it. You don't have to buy the entire program all at once. I bought the entire program all at once, and it was, I think, around $7,000. But I literally have probably 15 tubs, twice as big as that Number Worlds tub that has all kinds of things in it. So that's what this is. This is a Marilyn Burns product. And so not only does it have a teacher manual that goes through, it's very user-friendly, I think. It will start with a lesson that has manipulatives. It will go through and it will tell you exactly how to use those manipulatives. It always has some kind of little game, and then it's got student pages, multiple lessons that go along with the same skill. So this is pretty slow moving, but it's got some good stuff. It comes with student books as well. And so they can actually go through. Here's your consumables. It also comes with all of the manipulatives that you would ever want in the entire world. It comes with literature books as well. And so it has lessons that will show you, use the book now. And, so here it is. And so it's got activities that go along with the literature books. And then this looks like just a whole extra book. Just for copies, that kind of thing. Just for your own knowledge, it looks like a teacher book on misconceptions. Okay? So that's Do the Math. The next is Investigations. I just brought one of these. This is an ancient program that they've kind of revamped. This is in your building somewhere. It may be in a closet. A lot of people told me that their boxes were black. It had a black box with the thing in it. I don't know if I have a newer version or an older version. However, this is investigations. And so this is also on our vetted resources list. You can go through, this is very inquiry based. So it's all about the students learning and them figuring out how to do the math. But it does have step-by-step guides for you. It's got charts. It's got all kinds of things that go along with it that will show you exactly what to do for a lesson. You can take one of these lessons and do it for a whole week if you needed to. That was the question for most people is, these lessons are at least 60 minutes long. How am I going to get that in? You're just going to split it up. And, as long as you're following that instructional sequence for math, you're going to be fine. Okay? So you'll get a little chance to look at that. I only brought the grade 3 one just because I had so much to carry. Okay?